Vybz Kartel can only be Vybz Kartel, you know. I cannot be what you want me to be or what he, she, or the old lady wants me to be. I have to be true to myself and just be Vybz Kartel. So me say, you know, say, it's me, Adidja Palmer, Adi the teacher, Vybz Kartel, world boss, world boss.
With an unrivaled bravado and undeniable charisma, Vybz Kartel has made a name for himself in a space where not many get too far. From the gritty underbelly of Waterford to the heights of global fame, and even behind prison walls, he has lived through it all, never losing the fire that made him a living legend. His journey is filled with raw ambition, controversy, unwavering commitment to his craft, and a new hope grounded in faith. It's a story that has defied the odds and transformed him into a cultural icon, or as he would say, a dancehall hero. He proved that the line between struggle and success is as thin as the one between rebellion and brilliance. And this living legend risked it all to push the boundaries and lead the way to a new chapter in the books of dancehall history. So embrace yourself for chaos and redemption, grittiness and stardom. These are the events that shaped Vybz Kartel into who he is today. But before we get started, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for more stories of artists like Vybz Kartel, who shaped music history. You won't want to miss a single episode. Now back to Vybz.
Me say, the girl them love off me bleach out face, and it work, you know what I mean? So I do me, while some other niggas trying to do me, but I don't do men.
The story begins on January 7th, 1976, in the heart of Kingston, Jamaica, where a baby was born to Teresa and Norris Palmer, one of 6 children including a younger brother and 4 sisters. The name of this boy was Adidja, and from a very young age he was ready to chase dreams bigger than himself. In the tough streets of Waterford, Portmore, he proved to be as resilient as the concrete jungle that raised him. Sharp as a razor, but with an edge that got him expelled from Calabar High School, Palmer was no ordinary student. His father, however, committed to seeing his son succeed in a traditional career path, ensured young Adidja finished his education at the Tutoral College. Meanwhile, the streets kept calling Adidja's name. Life finally began to make sense for him in 1993, when at just 17 he stepped into a recording booth under the name Adi Banton, a tribute to his idol Buju Banton. He dropped his first track, Love Fat Women, on Alvin Reed's One Heart label. Little did he know that he was about to ignite a revolution in dancehall music. Years later, inspired by the infamous cartels led by Pablo Escobar, Palmer used his ingenious twist to form a group called Vybz Kartel, with his friends Mr. Lee and Escobar. As fate would have it, Rohan Butler, a talent manager, caught their performance while watching a TV broadcast of a street dance where he saw something special in the young artist's raw talent, but more so in Adidja than his crew.
He took the CD and the next day he was like, yo, you with your body in a rare. And from that, you know what I mean, it's like an overnight change completely.
As the group dissolved during his first attempt to manage them, Butler zeroed in on Palmer, who rebranded himself as a solo artist under the name Vybz Kartel, a tribute to his earlier group. With Butler by his side, Waterford's soon-to-be legend was ready for big things. But before hitting the spotlight, Cartel had to prove how good a lyricist he was.
Me ask him why I'm doing it, him could reply. So me take off his and face with reply. Me no judge it, porridge, no put in a pie. If I'm a finya woman, I could not I. Man fit stick to woman like a live on papai. Elephant man, my live on my live on a shy. When boy I plead, and I beg and I buy. Our style, hello, walker, bye bye. Big man a big man. Boy a boy. Remember, we play music but we don't play.
And so between 1999 and 2003, he wrote songs for himself and the legendary Bounty Killer. Hit after hit, more than 30 songs flowed from Cartel's pen to Bounty's voice, proving he was indeed a lyrical genius. Under the wings of the Alliance label since its formation in 2002, he was learning the game from the inside out, watching, waiting, and planning his own ascent to the throne. Finally, the world got a taste of what Vybz could do. When he walked on the stage at Sting 2002, it was an instant success. By 2003, the student was ready to become the master. With more eyes on him, Vybz was ready for the spotlight. It was then that he released his debut album, Up to the Time, on Greensleeves Record, a UK record label specializing in dancehall and reggae music. The album caused a tsunami in the dancehall scene. Raw, unfiltered talent that couldn't be contained. Soon after that, Vybz got another chance to walk on stage at Sting 2003. This time, however, he not only got to shine due to his performance, but also for the way he confronted Ninja Man.
We must make it clear that Supreme Promotions was not involved in setting up any clash that took place at Sting.
It was clear that the world had taken notice of his name when a MOBO Award nomination put his name on the global stage, even though controversy around his lyrics later led to its withdrawal. Around this time, tensions were brewing within the alliance. A feud with Spraga Benz, an assassin, seemed to have been manufactured, with Cartel pursuing the lyrical clashes that defined the dancehall culture. However, Bounty Killer, the leader of the alliance, did not support this direction, leading to a rift between the two.
Bounty Killer is a mentor of Vybz Kartel, you know what I mean? Over the years, the whole Jamaica know that, so we're always forever grateful and thing, you know what I mean? But you have a time in life where you have to become your own person.
Cartel then embarked on the time travel tour in 2004, marking the beginning of a series of events that would lead to his ultimate departure from the alliance camp. In 2006, the rising success of Mavado, a star also from Bounty Killer's alliance camp, set the stage for what would become one of the most legendary feuds in dancehall history. It was dancehall's version of Tupac versus Biggie, a clash that would divide an entire island and change the landscape of Jamaican music forever. The roots of the conflict began when Vybz Kartel attended the wedding of Beanie Man and Bounty Killer's former lover, D'Angel, both of whom had contentious relationships with Bounty Killer. Further stirring tensions, Cartel collaborated on a song with Bounty's ex-lover that included disparaging lyrics about him. This act provoked Bounty Killer and precipitated Cartel's exit from Bounty's music group, Alliance.
You remember from 2006 when Cartel leave me Alliance, how him disrespect me every time I try denounce him and I try say you know reach my sides, how him start diss me.
The rivalry between Mavado and Vybz Kartel officially ignited when Mavado released a diss track supporting his mentor Bounty Killer. This led to an exchange of diss tracks between the two, culminating in their performances at the 2006 Sting Festival, where they openly target each other in their sets. In 2007, after leaving Alliance, Vybz Kartel joined the Portmore Empire, a music group initially formed by Deva Brat and Nuclear. Leveraging the business acumen he developed at Alliance, Cartel soon assumed leadership of the group. After a fallout with the original founders, he took full control, ultimately ousting them and eventually rebranded the group as the Gaza Empire. The feud between Mavado and Cartel had now become a powerful symbol of identity, with fans driven by passion and a sense of belonging to one movement or the other. The streets buzzed with anticipation as both artists traded lyrical shots, each verse more explosive than the last. Mavado supporters, the Gully Side, held strong to the tough streets of Kingston, while Cartel's Gaza camp, based in Portmore, rose with equal intensity. What began as a lyrical competition soon erupted into a full-fledged cultural war, with the country split along lines of loyalty.
The government is defending its decision to intervene in the dancehall rivalry between DJs Mavado and Vybz Kartel.
The Gaza Gully conflict spilled onto the streets, with fans taking the rivalry to dangerous levels. It got so intense that the Jamaican government had to step in, calling for peace talks between the two artists. The Prime Minister himself had to address the situation, showing just how deeply this musical rivalry had embedded itself into the fabric of Jamaican society. The tension reached its boiling point at the legendary Sting Festival in 2008, where a lyrical clash ensued between the two, and left mixed views as to the winner. For Cartel, though, the controversy only fueled his fire. Every headline, every clash, every moment of tension just added to his rising popularity. People finally knew who he was, and finally, he understood something fundamental about the music industry. Controversy sells. And in the world of dancehall, where reputation is everything, Cartel was finally becoming a legend. With the Gaza crowd on his side, Cartel was ready for more. He was ready to make a powerhouse out of those who followed him. With an eye for talent, Cartel brought up artists who would later become stars in their own right. Names like Popcaan, Vanessa Bling, and Tommy Lee Sparta went on to achieve great success thanks to the mentorship of the legend himself. Meanwhile, Cartel also kept dominating both local and international airwaves with tracks such as Clark's, Dancehall Hero, Ramping Shop, and Summertime. On that note, you've been vibing to Cartel for a while now, so what's your go-to track? Is it one of these? Or is it something we haven't even touched on yet? You already know the answer. Go ahead, let us know in the comments below. Now the thing with Vybz is that he was thinking bigger than just music. He was building a brand, an empire that stretched beyond the studio. A TV show, shoe line, rum brand, even a controversial skin lightening soap that had all of Jamaica talking.
The wider blame, the real blame should be laid on the system and not on any one person, particularly Vybz Kartel, who is someone who came along, saw what was happening, and people will continue to bleach long after Vybz Kartel is gone.
Love him or hate him, you couldn't ignore him. And while the old heads were still trying to figure out radio play, Cartel was revolutionizing the game, using social media to connect with his fans in ways no dancehall artist had ever done before. Vybz Kartel had become a cultural phenomenon, a force that transcended dancehall and reshaped what it meant to be an artist in Jamaica. But things took a darker turn on May 23, 2010, when a state of emergency was declared as the Jamaican government sought to find and extradite drug don Christopher Duddas Coke, who was rumored to be hiding in Tivoli. During this event, Cartel became one of several major persons of interest called in by the police. And on June 29, 2010, the St. Catherine South Police sought to have a word with him. Luckily, Cartel was released on July 16th of that same year, just in time to perform on Reggae Sumfest. With an orange jumper, handcuffs, release theatrics and all, the legend just kept rising. The following year, on September 29th, Cartel was arrested due to marijuana possession. A small offense, at least that's what it seemed like. But just when it seemed like things couldn't get worse, fate showed it had other plans in store.
The popular and controversial dancehall artist Vybz Kartel, whose given name is Adidja Palmer, remains in police custody this evening.
After a decade of dominating the dancehall scene, Cartel was about to face his toughest battle yet, one where no amount of lyrics could save him. On October 3, 2011, the music world stood still as news broke of Cartel's arrest on murder charges. The streets that once echoed with his music now buzzed with whispers and speculation. The case became one of Jamaica's most high-profile trials, with every detail scrutinized under the media's microscope. While he beat the first charge, the second stuck: life in prison for the murder of Clive Lizard Williams, with 35 years before a chance at parole. But even prison walls couldn't silence the world boss. From behind bars, Cartel did the unimaginable. He kept making hits. Fever, Underwater, the tracks kept coming, and the charts kept climbing. Physically, he might have been locked up, but his voice and influence only grew stronger.
I used to record a lot of songs before I got arrested. All those songs were released, so we didn't have anything in our archives. So I had to figure out a way to record.
As he battled both legal challenges and health issues, including Graves' disease, his loyal Gaza soldiers never stopped fighting for his freedom. And then, after 13 long years, everything changed. In a historic decision in March 2024, the UK's Privy Council quashed his conviction. Finally, on 31st of July of the same year, Cartel was released from prison after the Court of Appeals declined to retry the Williams case. The streets erupted in celebration as the world boss finally walked free. Within days of his release, he dropped First Week Out, a 12-track mixtape that proved he hadn't lost his touch. From reflections on his time behind bars to anthems of freedom, each track reminded the world why they called him the world boss.
What I'd say from my heart, Lisa, is time is precious. Don't waste it.
Now, as 2024 draws to a close, all eyes are on December 31st, the Freedom Street event. After 13 years, Vybz Kartel will finally return to the stage. It's more than just a comeback. it's a resurrection. Because in the end, that's what legends do. They rise, they fall, and then they rise again, stronger than ever. The king is back, and dancehall still hasn't seen everything he has to offer. For now, this is where the story of the living legend ends. Where do you think he'll go next? Which artist would you like to see featured next? Comment down below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay in the loop. See you next time.
As I usually say before I end the video, whether under your nose, I'm out.